Thank you for turning to page 121. Welcome back to page 121. Today I want to talk about an excellent house magazine that was published for Traveler, starting in 1979, edited by the unfortunately late, great Lauren Wiseman. It was Journal of the Traveler's Aid Society. If you play Traveler, you know the Traveler's Aid Society is something you can, a benefit you can get on mustering out or something you can buy into. And what this does is it gives you basically airline miles, for want of a better term. You can stay at JTAS accommodations and gain upgrades on your traveling, as well as other perks for being in the Traveler's Aid Society. So this was purported in-house, tongue-in-cheek, to be the Journal of the Traveler's Aid Society. So this would be the magazine that you would get as a TAS member. This magazine was also known as JTAS, Journal of Traveler's Aid Society. This magazine was a lot of fun because it stayed, in a lot of ways, within the Traveler universe. It's dated as if you were in the Traveler universe, and then, of course, it just has articles on how to game better, how to play this or that encounter better, new equipment, that sort of thing. So today I want to take a little look at the history of JTAS and a little bit why it's still popular enough that it's been recently revised. The Journal of the Traveler's Aid Society, or JTAS, was created by Game Designers Workshop in 1979. It was edited primarily by Lauren Wiseman, who is a Traveler legend, unfortunately passed a couple of years ago. But Lauren was a Traveler legend and was involved with Traveler pretty much straight through its entire existence up until he passed. The magazine itself would have a dating system that would keep you immersed in the Traveler universe. Traveler universe calendar starts year zero with the founding of the Third Imperium and goes all the way up at the time of this magazine to 1107, which is an important year in the Traveler universe. I'll get to that in a moment. So the idea was that you would just be alive during 1107 and you would be an adventurer traveling in the Traveler universe. The Third Imperium was not very fleshed out at this point. The only part of it that was really being used as a campaign area was the Spinward Marches, which was a frontier section of the Third Imperium, and kind of created as a sandbox for the players to have fun in, but be far removed from the main powers of Traveler. It was a neat way of doing it. Traveler was originally designed as a worldless game. You were free to create your own worlds, your own galaxy, however you wanted to, but there was enough call from players for them to establish an official Traveler universe. Part of that became the Journal of the Traveler's Aid Society. Quick note on the Traveler's Aid Society itself, that is a thing in-game. It's a support organism for travelers. Various worlds throughout the Imperium, and only the Imperium, well, few frontier worlds, have Traveler's Aid Society hotels or meeting places or just a section in the starport where a JTAS member can come in and get inexpensive or free lodging, meals, accommodations, and tickets for different vessels for destinations that they're headed to. It's a feature you can get in mustering out in some of the classes of Traveler, and it's also something that you can purchase after, if you got a lot of coin. Generally, a JTAS membership costs around 1 million credits, which in Traveler is an awful lot of money. So, as I said, Journal of Traveler's Aid Society, or JTAS, produced by Game Designers Workshop, started in 1979, issue number 1. You see on my little display here, I have issue number 5. As I said in previous videos, I got to the Traveler Party in 1981, so I missed the first couple of issues of this guy. Consequently, they are pretty expensive. I have not been able to purchase them since then. They're available. They're out there on eBay occasionally, but the prices are a little too high for my flavor. It was so we start. My collection starts with JTAS number 5. The magazine was edited primarily by Lauren Wiseman, straight through its existence. As I said, it features the Traveler News Service. I'll go into that a little bit more in a minute. It was A lot of the material written in here was written by the Keith brothers of Traveler fame, J. Andrew Keith and William H. Keith Jr. These guys were incredibly prolific writers for Traveler in Traveler's earliest days. They both went on to Battletech in later years, and again, were both just tremendously prolific writers. They're from Oakland, Illinois, which is just outside Chicago, and that's of significance to me because my wife grew up in Oakland, not terribly far from where they grew up. They didn't know each other. There's an age difference there, but it's just kind of cool. The Traveler's Aid Society was a very good way for GDW to release information on the campaign that they were building in the Traveler universe. For instance, in issue 9, the cover simply says War. This is the issue where they launched one of the seminal events of Traveler, the Fifth Frontier War. The evil, mind-controlling, psionic Zodani are attacking the Imperium in the Fifth Frontier, which borders their territory, or not in the Fifth Frontier, I'm sorry, in the Spinward Marches area, which is a frontier. They are attacking the Imperium there, and that starts off the Fifth Frontier War. Each JTAS, with the Traveling News Service, had the actual date. So the date there on this one is day 186 of the year 1107. The Fifth Frontier War broke out in 1107, went through 1110. GDW also released a game called the Fifth Frontier War. I have that game. I'll review that in a future video. So this was a great way for them to introduce something that advanced their campaign, but also kind of sideways advertised a new game that they were going to drop. The magazine itself also had a lot of information on infantry units, different groups within the Traveler universe, the care and feeding of NPCs, that sounds like an old Dragon magazine, starship miniatures that were out there at the time, and different alien races you can incorporate. They also did features in the issues. This one is a feature on the Referee's Guide to Planet Building. In the early 80s, anybody that was playing Traveler, D&D, needed all the help they could get with this sort of thing. Planet building was not anything any of us were skilled at. There was no internet. There were no computers. There were no easy to plug in programs that would just slap your world together. You had to sit with pencil and paper and do all this. Not that it wasn't a lot of fun, because it was, but it ended up being very time consuming, especially if you had to do multiple planets for a campaign. This gave you some tips on how to actually do the planet building. Another feature they had in the magazine, this one from issue 17, Atmospheres. It was a separate little insert you could pull out just on atmospheres. It was kind of an issue within an issue, and it was listed as Special Supplement 2. So the Special Supplement 1 was on torpedoes. So it was this own little booklet. You could just bend the staples, pull this guy out, and keep it in your collection separate from the magazine. I obviously didn't do that because I wanted to keep the magazine together. So JTAS, with all of its nice little features, ran until 1984, and it left us on issue 24, and this one featured on the cover, Religion in the 2000 Worlds. So the magazine itself was popular with Traveler readers. It was popular enough that they published 4 Best of Journal of the Traveler's Aid Society books. These were select articles pulled from issues 1 through 4, and then 5 through 8, etc. And very good to have if you didn't have the original issues. This is where I see a lot of my 1 to 4 selections. And then when it folded in 1984, it was rolled into a house magazine they were launching at the time called Challenge. Now, this is not Challenge. This is issue 25 of the Journal of Traveler's Aid Society. This was an attempt to relaunch the magazine by Imperium Games Incorporated. It's issue 25, and the idea was they were just going to pick up where JTAS 24 left off and ignore Challenge magazine. Nice little issue. I enjoyed it. It went for exactly 2 issues. There's issue 26. I don't remember seeing this on a lot of stands. This was out in 1996. I am the only one I'm aware of in our group that was even aware of it or bothered to buy it. I don't think it was a great seller for them, and I think that's why there are only 2 issues. The other thing that I want to bring up is that JTAS is still alive and well. I don't have any of the copies, but Mongoose Publishing, who is the current publisher of Traveler, the current license holder, if you will, they are publishing their own version of Journal of the Traveler's Aid Society. These are pretty nice looking features. It's written for Mongoose 2nd edition, which I don't have. And they look nice, and every review I've read of them says that they're very professionally done, very beautiful books, and worth the money. I can't attest that personally. I'm only giving secondhand information. If you're interested, those are available through Mongoose's site and, of course, our good friend eBay. The older issues of JTAS are available on eBay. And the prices on the issues after issue 5 and 6 are pretty reasonable. You can get issues 7, 8, 9, all those for a pretty reasonable price, somewhere around $12 to $20. They're also available as PDFs on Drive-Thru RPG, and Far Future Enterprises also has these compiled as PDFs. So if you can't get the hard copy, it's at least something you can read on your laptop or your tablet. So that's it. I'm a massive fan of this particular magazine. I read through them all the time. They're great inspirational reading, whatever era you're playing in Traveler. And they're loaded with great ideas from guys that were cutting edge for the game when it was in its infancy. So that's it for today for page 121. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Well, that closes the book on another episode of page 121. Please leave your comments below, and if you enjoyed what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.